Is Luxury Fred, and this, my friends, is the 2018 Lexus LS 500. So this is Lexus's top-of-the-line luxury sedan, and this has the optional executive package, which is a $17,100 option that gives you a range of luxury amenities, as well as an extended wheelbase and a huge limo-like rear seat. So before I say more, because that's such a big feature of this car, let me give you a tour of the executive package rear seat. I'm here in the back seat of the 2018 Lexus LS 500. And I'm in the back seat because this is a car that's mainly used for car service, as a limo, that kind of thing. Because this has, as I've said before, the $17,100 executive package option. And I wanted to give you a close-up look at some of the features and some of the other goodies that you get with the executive package. So I'm here in the back seat. I'm in the outboard seat, which is not the one behind the driver. And the big thing that this gives you is both of these seats recline, but this outboard seat really reclines. So we have this cool 7-inch controller for the back seat, and this controls all the different functions: audio, climate control, the seat, massage, shade, and then we can change the settings of it. So talking about the seat, we push seat, and then so we're adjusting the right seat. Actually, let's do this. So we can see these three settings like on an airplane: fully upright, middle, and fully reclined. So right now, that front passenger seat is normal. You know, it's sitting there like a normal seat is. But if I want to recline and I push this, so first, that front passenger seat moves all the way forward and kind of tucks itself away. See that? And then when it does that, my seat starts to move. And I have a very comfortable, I have to look if this kind of foot thing comes out to see that. So anyhow, so as you can see, I get a fully reclined position. If you can see back here, very comfortable. Reclined as much as you might find in an airplane or something like that, in a business class seat. Very, very reclined. So it's very comfortable to cruise along like this in the Lexus LS 500 with this executive package. I'm going to look at one more thing here. So if we go right seat adjustment. So this also allows us some other control for that right front seat. Again, this is the folding function, and now if I want to come to the middle recline and push that, you can see we kind of move back into a slightly more upright position. Let's put it all the way back. So what else do you have? You have a basic glove box here. I don't believe you have USB connections and stuff like that. I don't think, this car does not have a refrigerator. Some of them actually have refrigerators. And then you have a little cup holder here. Again, you have your beautiful wood trim. And then something cool, this whole thing comes up like that. so that you can fit 3 people in here if you really want to. Okay, so again, that comes down like that. What else? In the back seat, you have lighting controls, and these are, the lighting in this car is inspired by some kind of Japanese lanterns. So it's a very subtle, cool effect. You have speakers. This has a very fancy Mark Levinson stereo system, which I'll tell you about when I do the full tour. And then you have these little vanity mirrors there as well. So as you can see, this rear seat is a very comfortable place to be. So just want to give you a view. Here's with no one in it. Shows you exactly how much room you have, especially when that front passenger seat is folded up like that. See? So as you can see, this is a car that mainly is used for car services. And that's why it's a little difficult to review, because this is not a typical car that someone is going to buy. It's the car that a hotel is going to buy, or a car service is going to buy, or something like that, because again, you have this huge limo-like rear seat, as I showed you. Other than that, it is a magnificent, luxurious, sumptuous, amazing car to drive, and I've been very impressed by it. It definitely competes with S-Class or Audi A8L or BMW 7 Series or whatever car that you want to compare it to like that. It really is. It's meant as the pinnacle of Lexus's automotive engineering and design, as the iconic car. They wanted to design an iconic car. They wanted to also design a car that wasn't boring. And I believe that they have succeeded 100%. So you have this beautiful, large luxury car, and the thing that I'm learning, the more cars that I drive, as far as luxury goes, there is no substitute for mass. So no matter how beautifully they engineer a, mid-size or compact luxury car, the only way you get that wonderful floating, gliding feel like you get on this is mass. You get that because this is a large, heavy car. This has a twin-turbo V6 engine. Before driving it, I would have thought that you needed a V8, but I was wrong. You don't need a V8. This car is amazingly fast and smooth and powerful. Actually, let me show you now a little 0 to 60 run I did. So first thing we do is to get the maximum speed is we put it in the Sport Plus setting. You have a normal, a comfort, an eco, a sport, and a Sport Plus mode. These are overall drive modes that control various aspects of the car. You also have a custom mode, so you can make the suspension sporty, but the shifting not sporty, and all that kind of stuff. You can create your own mode. But for this, we want it in the Sport Plus mode, which is the most extreme mode. So that control is all up here. So we go 1 Sport, 2 Sport Plus. If you were outside the car and it wasn't so wonderfully insulated, you'd hear the exhaust note change. It gets more aggressive. The dashboard here changes into a red, again, more sporty type mode. And now we have the most sporty possible performance from the car in terms of shifting and holding the high shift point and things like that. So we do have a manual mode with paddle shifters, but I will leave it in the automatic mode and see how it does. And I'll show you the 0 to 60, which is 5.5 seconds, something like that. This again has a twin turbo V6 engine that gives you north of 400 horsepower. It's very torquey, very powerful, and really works well with this car. I would think this car needs a V8. After driving it, it doesn't need a V8. This engine is quite amazing. Okay, ready? See, tiny bit of turbo lag there. 60. So you can see, I mean, this is an enormous car. car with the limo-like back seat, but you still get reasonable performance. It is fun, it is fast off the line, and it does give you a bit of that, you know, you might say AMG-like S-Class performance when you put it in the, especially when you put it in the Sport Plus mode. So as you can see, smooth, powerful engine. I felt no need for a V8. You do get a tiny bit of turbo lag, and you do get a tiny bit of kind of lag and lesser performance, especially when you put it in the eco mode, but that's kind of to be expected. You definitely don't miss the V8, and in the sport mode you definitely have some unbelievable power with this car. The highlight of it for me is the driving experience. It's just so quiet and so smooth, and you get in it. And today, right now I'm in Torrance, but I just drove down all the way from Palm Springs, 100 miles on the freeway, and it just glides. You know, got the adaptive cruise control on at like 82, 83, something like that. And it's so quiet, it's so comfortable, that it really gives you that isolated luxury car experience, which is quite wonderful. You get a nice range of driving experiences from the different drive mode. Cruising along in comfort mode is a lot different than when you're racing around in sport mode, so I like that the car has a lot of different feelings. Again, the big highlight is the interior and the build quality. This is the kind of car, when I took my fiance's mother out for dinner, she just was blown away, because it's like riding in a limo. It just has beautiful leather seats, and just the whole overall experience and everything that you feel, the whole tactile experience is truly wonderful. Everything has a solid, luxurious feel to it, and it's quite wonderful. So all around, it's a great car to drive. Again, with that executive package option, this car prices out at $107,695. So it's not cheap, but again, that's comparatively and competitively priced with other luxury sedans from Audi, BMW, Infiniti, or what have you. So I'm really impressed. It definitely delivers a wonderful luxury experience from front to back, on every level, on the performance level, on the build quality, and again, most importantly, on just the overall driving experience and riding experience. Let's take a look at the inside of the LS 500. First thing you'll notice, and the first thing I noticed, is the incredible build quality and the incredible attention to detail that you get. This car has the optional wood trim and the optional leather seats and leather kind of interior, and just the stitching and the wood and the aluminum here, all that other stuff is just so beautifully crafted. Hopefully you can see that there. One of the big design features of this car that I've learned about is, look at these metal slats. See how they continue here through the vents and there, and then you have a digital image of some slats up there, and these are raised aluminum pieces here. These were inspired by the straw of a whisk broom that's used to clean or prepare a table for a Japanese tea ceremony. So those slots, those lines there, were inspired by that. The cabin lighting was inspired by the illumination provided by a certain kind of Japanese lantern, and everything else just has a very zen, carefully designed, beautifully designed quality to it. So if I can give you a tour here, this has with the executive package that this has, you have a 24-way adjustable driver's seat, which includes full massage function here, even seat climate. You can do all kinds of stuff. passenger seat refresh. So those driver seat refresh. These are all different kinds of massages. And you can see it shows you what it's doing. So it's a wonderful, it's very nice to have the massage going on as I'm talking to you now. So you can see you have driver seat massage, passenger seat massage. You have a rear seat massage as well. Actually, just one of the rear seats. So let me continue the tour. Something I do like on this door is look at this, how this kind of is hanging there. Just the style and design of that is beautiful. You can see the aluminum and the wood here. Here's your seat memory controls. Window controls, the rear has shades. These put down the rear windows and the rear shades. You have your trunk release, your gas cap release. This is your head-up display, and then this is your view, because you have all kinds of cameras on this car. So this gives you a view. So actually that checks all around the car for safety and tells you if there's any objects there or anything like that. You have a heads-up display, not sure if you can see it right there, and it shows you your direction, and I'm sure you can configure that. Something that I haven't been able to figure out is how to move the heads-up display higher. There's not a control here, there's just a display that turns it on and off. Here's your traction control, here's your drive modes. I think I've talked about the drive modes before. You have what's called a normal mode, which kind of is a mix of comfort and sport. Then you can customize it. If you put it this way, you have a sport and sport plus. So right now I'm in comfort mode. Can you see it up there? When I put it into sport, it turns red, and when I put it into sport plus, it's also red. Put it back into comfort mode, normal mode, and then if we go down, we have two modes. We have an eco mode that gives you the best gas mileage. It's not as much fun to drive in the eco mode. And then you have what's called comfort mode, which is a more comfortable cruising mode. I actually tend to like to drive in that mode. This car has the twin turbo V6 engine, very, very smooth, but in the eco mode you definitely notice that it's not a big V8 engine. Let's see, you have steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. You have a 10-speed transmission that is controlled here. You have all your controls for cruise control and infotainment and all the safety features here. You know, kind of standard as you would have in any car. Lighting controls here, windshield wipers and stuff like that. You have this big central digital display. Right now it's on map mode. If I put it into home or menu up here, you can see all the different things that we have. Again, this car has every navigation and driver aid and lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, and front braking, automatic and rear braking. Something I have used that I hadn't used before, this is called the brake hold feature. And when that mode is enabled and you're in stop and go traffic, you don't have to keep your foot on the brake. So if the traffic stops, I push the brake, the car stops, I can take my foot off the brake and the brake is still engaged, so to speak. And then when I push the accelerator, it releases it. So when you're in stop and go traffic, it makes it a little more comfortable to drive. Your climate control and all that, self-explanatory here. This is the Lexus controller, which is a little bit weird. You move your finger and it kind of stops on the different things. So if you push apps, and then this whole thing is a button, so you push that and then that brings up your apps. I haven't explored what's on this car yet, but I'm sure it has every possible available app. So the system is easy to use. You have your Lexus Enform system, Enform with an E. That's a subscription-based service that you can interact with someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can ask questions. You can say, hey, where's the nearest rest stop? Hey, where's the nearest hotel? Whatever it is, and they can look it up for you, and then they can automatically enter it in the navigation system. Same thing with an address. You can say, hey, I'm looking for the Ritz-Carlton Marina Del Rey. They can look it up, and they can remotely put it into your navigation, and then the car will take you there. It's a very cool feature. Again, that's a subscription-based service. So you have these beautiful leather seats with these cross-stitching semi-aniline leather seats, which I've learned means the leather is deeply dyed. It's not just dyed on the surface. You have an optional wood and leather steering wheel, which I must say in Palm Springs gets hot. And the one thing that this car needs, that it may have, but I don't know if it has it, is a remote start. In Palm Springs today, it's 117 degrees outside. You need to be able to start your car remotely so that you have that AC going. Just like if you live somewhere really cold, you need to remote start a car to get the heat going, the defroster and all that. I like how you have this kind of single display area. You have this one mono, what do they call this, a binnacle or something like that. So you have one area with a display, and it's very uncluttered. You have your speedometer that reads out digitally, and you have your tachometer that reads the RPMs in the outer circle there. And then no other info except your temperature gauge and your fuel gauge. Obviously, you can put tons of info there if you want, but I like how it's very basic and minimalist, and it just lets you concentrate on the driving experience. Let me give you a quick look at the outside of the LS 500. So this color is Nightfall Mica. Nightfall Mica, and the first thing I want to show you, hopefully what you can see in the bright sunlight, is look at that finish. It's like a sparkly glitter finish. Especially in the sunlight. Just beautiful blue, sparkly glitter finish. Again, Nightfall Mica. This has 20-inch rims on it. All the rims are standard. They're not optional. And start in the front with the amazing grille, kind of Lexus's new signature element. The grille has 5,000 surfaces or facets on it, so if you count all the different angles and things like that, they add up to 5,000. And on the F-Sport model, there's 7,000 of them. And I was reading some interviews with the car's designers, and they want to point out that, yes, it's a beautiful grille, but all the other lines of the car start from the grille and emanate from the grille. And you can see these body lines here start, you know, from this angle, and the headlights relate to the angle of the grille and all that kind of stuff. And just the sweeping lines of the car, including the rear, is almost like a mimic or a replication of that amazing front grille. And was also reading that, geez, 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that, the president of Lexus asked a group of journalists, what's your opinion? What's a one-word opinion of Lexus? What do you think? And a lot of them said boring. And they've had a mantra, you could say, over there, to stop creating boring cars and make exciting, iconic cars. And this and the LC 500, the amazing luxury coupe, you can also see a review of that on my channel here, are examples of that. Cars that are at a higher level, cars that cost north of $100,000, so they better be at a higher level. So I'm trying to give you an overall view of the car. You can see it has elements similar to a BMW 7 Series, similar to a Porsche Panamera, similar to an Audi A7, but yet it has its own unique look with the trunk there, and of course with that distinctive grille. There's no doubt as to what car this is or what brand this is. As soon as you see that grille, you know that it's a Lexus. So thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I have lots of great luxury car and motorcycle and luxury travel content as well. Try to post a few videos each week. And if you like the video, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Click like under the video. That helps me out as well. And check me out on social media. All my stuff is at Luxury Fred or at Drive with Fred. So that's it for the 2018 Lexus LS 500. Thank you for watching.